Hello everyone, welcome to the episode that deals with another important part of functional English, that is, the pronoun. To make the learners understand the topic thoroughly, we will discuss the meaning and types of pronouns elaborately. I am Sakshi Mandwal and our subject expert for today's topic is Miss Sabah Tariq, lecturer for English at the University of Jizan, Saudi Arabia. After watching this episode, the student will be able to understand accurate meaning and importance of pronouns, the different types of pronouns, learn the uses of pronouns, and expand and improve the skills of writing English correctly. Definition. In English grammar, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun, noun phrase, or noun clause. The pronoun is one of the traditional parts of speech. A pronoun can function as a subject, object, or complement in a sentence. Unlike nouns, pronouns rarely allow modification. Pronouns are a closed word class in English. New members rarely enter the language. Types of pronouns. There are several different types of pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns, interrogative pronouns, intensive pronouns, personal pronouns, possessive pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, reflexive pronouns, relative pronouns, first person pronouns, second person pronouns, third person pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns. In grammar, a demonstrative is a determiner or a pronoun that points to a particular noun or to the noun it replaces. There are 4 demonstratives in English: the near demonstratives, this and these, and the far demonstratives, that and those. This and that are singular, these and those are plural. A demonstrative pronoun distinguishes its antecedent from similar things. For example, let me pick out the books. I want these, not those. When a demonstrative comes before a noun, it's sometimes called a demonstrative adjective or a demonstrative determiner. Son, take this bat and hit that ball out of the park. The etymology of demonstrative is from the Latin means, show, warn. Examples and observations. This movie is boring, that idea is crazy, these brownies are delicious, those children are hungry. Determiners and their antecedents. Like other determiner classes, the demonstrative pronoun must replace or stand for a clearly stated antecedent. In the following example, that does not refer to solar energy. It has no clear antecedent. Our contractor is obviously skeptical about solar energy. That doesn't surprise me. Such sentences are not uncommon in speech, nor are they ungrammatical. But when a this or that has no specific antecedent, the writer can usually improve the sentence by providing a noun headword for the demonstrative pronoun by turning the pronoun into a determiner. Our contractor is obviously skeptical about solar energy. That attitude or his attitude doesn't surprise me. A combination of the two sentences would also be an improvement over the vague use of that. The indefinite pronoun. An indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that refers to an unspecified or unidentified person or thing. Put another way, an indefinite pronoun doesn't have an antecedent. Indefinite pronouns include quantifiers, some, any, enough, several, many, much, universals, all, both, every, each, and partitives, any, anyone, anybody, either, neither, no, nobody, some, someone. Many of the indefinite pronouns can function as determiners. Examples. Look at the words in italics in the following sentences. For many are called, but few are chosen. Bible, Matthew 22.14. You can fool all the people some of the time. You can fool some of the people all the time. But you can't fool all the people all the time. Abraham Lincoln, speech at the Republican State Convention in Bloomington, Indiana on May 29, 1856. No one wants to hear about my sciatica. Bart Simpson's The Simpsons. I will not dance on anyone's grave. Bart Simpson, The Simpsons. These pronouns are called indefinite because they do not indicate the exact person or thing to which they refer. Both are acceptable to me. Everything is fine between Sue and Sam. Someone has taken my new chemistry book. Have you told anyone about the treasure map? Somebody ate my sandwich. Everybody is busy finishing the quiz. We knew that no one had eaten the salami. I don't have any, but John has some. You may have either. Notice that these indefinite pronouns do not introduce clauses as do the indefinite relative pronouns. Indefinite pronouns ending in body and one. The positive indefinite pronouns that end in body are largely interchangeable with those that end in one, although corpus research indicates that at least in American English, the body pronouns tend to be used more frequently. Ron Cowan, The Teacher's Grammar of English, Cambridge University Press, 2008. The pairs of pronouns with personal references, example, everybody, everyone, are equivalent in function and meaning, but the pronoun in one are regarded as more elegant than those in body. Randolph Quark et al. A Comprehensive Grammar of the English Language, Longman, 1985. Singular indefinite pronouns. The following words are singular indefinite pronouns. Anybody, anyone, anything, each, each one, either, neither, everybody, everyone, everything, nobody, no one, nothing, somebody, someone, something. Notice the use of singular pronouns with these words. Everyone did as he pleased. Somebody has forgotten a purse. Either of the choices has its disadvantages. In informal spoken English, plural pronouns are often used with indefinite pronoun antecedents. Plural indefinite pronouns, both few, many, several, take plural verbs. Both of us match the opponent. Many are wishing to take part in the competition. Variable indefinite pronouns. The last group of indefinite pronouns is tricky because they are variable. All, most, none, some. These pronouns can be singular or plural depending upon the real noun to which they refer. When the real noun is used, this is clear. Some coffee is left. Some employees are leaving. Because coffee has no S in the ending, we know how to use is. Because employees has an S ending, we know to use are. But it is possible to have a sentence in which the real noun is omitted. In response to a question, for example, or in a paragraph when the noun has been mentioned previously. The responsibility is all yours. None is mine. These books belong to you. None are mine. It is essential, therefore, that when you use a variable indefinite pronoun, you keep in mind the real noun it is referring to. Andrea B. Jeffner, Business English. The writing skills you need for today's workplace, 5th edition, Barron's, 2010. Agreement with indefinite pronouns. It's clear that one is singular and takes a singular verb. One is never, one are. However, there's a small group of indefinite pronouns that have one in them or imply the word one that gives us all verb trouble. Either, either one, each, each one, any, anyone, anybody, everyone, everybody, none, no one, nobody, neither, neither one. In speaking, most of us always correctly use the singular verb with anyone and anybody. Anyone around my base is it. If anybody wants this, he can have it. But with the rest of the list, we often shift to the plural if there's an intervening modifying phrase. Everyone is late for breakfast today. Every one of us are late for breakfast today. Neither horse has been shod yet. Neither of the horses have been shod yet. We suggest that you say whatever you like, whatever sounds most comfortable. When it comes to writing, if you think somebody is going to be evaluating your grammar, stick to the singular verb after each of these words. Two categories of indefinite pronouns. The indefinite pronouns are divided into two main categories according to their morphology and their syntactic behavior. The compound pronouns are those which are composed of two morphemes, viz. A determiner, morpheme, every, some, any or no, and a nominal morpheme, one, body or thing. The remaining indefinite pronouns belong to a category which we shall call of pronouns because they can be followed by a partitive of phrase. Many, of, some, of, etc. Randolph Quirk et al. A Comprehensive Grammar of the English Language, Longman, 1985. Interrogative pronouns, a term in traditional grammar for a pronoun that introduces a question. Related terms include interrogative WH word and question word, although these terms are generally not defined in precisely the same way. In English, who, whom, whose, which and what commonly function as interrogative pronouns. When immediately followed by a noun, whose, which and what function as determiners. Examples and observations. Who are you? Even if you do learn to speak correct English, whom are you going to speak it to? Attributed to Clarence Darrow. Yes, and that third place on the other side, whose is that? Whose? Wilkie Collins, Mr. Ray's Cashbox, 1852. When a man tells you that he got rich through hard work, ask him whose. Don Marquis. I have water and Diet Coke. That was the only soft drink I allowed to have. Which do you prefer? Stephen King, Under the Dome, Scribner, 2009. I got a belt on that's holding up my pants and the pants have belt loops that hold up the belt. What is going on here? Who is the real hero? Mitch Hedberg. Notice that an interrogative pronoun will never have an antecedent. Since it asks a question, there is no way to know which noun is an interrogative pronoun which it refers to. The antecedent remains a mystery until the question is answered. Mr. Strump and A. Douglas, The Grammar Bible, Owl Books, 2004. What versus which? What is used when specific information is requested from a general or open-ended possible range? Which is used when specific information is requested from a restricted range of possibilities? I've got your address. What's your phone number? Oh, it's 267358, an open-ended range of possible information. Looking at a pile of coats. Which is your coat? That black one. However, where the number of options is shared knowledge among speakers and listeners, what plus noun is often used in informal contexts. Here, what is an interrogative pronoun used as a determiner? Talking about a shop. What side of the street is it on? Left or right? Or which side of the street is it on? Did you see that documentary about the SARS virus last night? No. What channel was it on? Which channel was it on? R. Carter and M. McCarthy, Cambridge Grammar of English, a comprehensive guide, Cambridge University Press, 2006. Intensive pronouns. In English grammar, an intensive pronoun is a pronoun ending in self or selves that serves to emphasize its antecedent, also known as an intensive reflexive pronoun. Intensive pronouns often appear as appositives after nouns or other pronouns. Intensive pronouns have the same forms as reflexive pronouns. Myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, oneself, and themselves. Unlike reflexive pronouns, intensive pronouns are not essential to the basic meaning of a sentence. Examples. I have never yet failed to meet a deadline I myself have set up. Part Schneider, Writing Alone and with Others, Oxford University Press, 2003. He wondered, as he had many times wondered before, whether he himself was a lunatic. George Orwell, 1984, 1948. Janis Joplin was a name now associated with an image, one that had grown bigger than the woman herself. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. Mother Teresa. It seems to me that if you tried hard, you would in time find it possible to become what you yourself would approve. Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre, 1847. Difference between intensive and reflexive pronouns. The contrast between reflexive and intensive pronouns is well illustrated with sit down, an intransitive verb that can also be used causatively. For example, she sat the child down. It can be seen that John sat himself down is a reflexivized causative, whereas John himself sat down and John sat down himself are intransitive, with an intensive pronoun that relates to the subject NP. Intensive pronouns are generally not placed in structural positions that could be filled by a reflexive pronoun. Watch is a transitive verb which can omit its subject. John watched Mary. John watched himself on the video. John watched. In this case, an intensive pronoun from the subject NP, John himself watched, would not be likely to be moved to a position after the verb, since it could then be mistaken for a reflexive substitute for the object NP. However, an intensive pronoun could be moved after an explicit object NP, especially if there was a gender difference. For example, John watched Mary himself. Robert M. W. Dixon, A Semantic Approach to English Grammar, Oxford University Press, 2005. In English grammar, a personal pronoun is a pronoun that refers to a particular group, or a person or thing. Like all pronouns, personal pronouns can take the place of nouns and noun phrases. These are the personal pronouns in English. First person singular, I, subject, me, object. First person plural, we, subject, us, object. Second person singular and plural, you, subject and object. Third person singular, he, she, it, subject, him, her, it, object. Third person plural, they, subject, them, object. Note that personal pronouns inflect for case to show whether they are serving as subjects of clauses or as objects of verbs or prepositions. Also note that all the personal pronouns except you have distinct forms indicating number, either singular or plural. Only the third person singular pronouns have distinct forms indicating gender, masculine, he, him, feminine, she, her, and neuter, it. A personal pronoun such as they can refer to both masculine and feminine entities is called a generic pronoun. Daddy Bailey invited me to spend the summer with him in Southern California, and I was jumpy with excitement. Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Random House, 1969. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. Oscar Wilde. From the moment I picked up your book until I laid it down, I was convulsed with laughter. Someday I intend reading it. Groucho Marx. She had driven her father into town, stopping along the way as he pointed out sights, showed her where he used to play as a child, told her stories he hadn't thought about for years. They went to the museum where he showed Bee her ancestors. Jane Green, The Beach House, Viking Penguin, 2008. Among naturalists, when a bird is seen well beyond its normal range, it is called an accidental. E.L. Doctorow, The Waterworks, Macmillan, 1994. I got the 2 carbons from a drawer and took them to her. As she did each one, I took it and gave the signature a look. Rex Stout, A Right to Die, Viking Press, 1964. They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim. He sent them word I had not gone. We know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you? From a letter read by the White Rabbit in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, 1865. Personal pronouns and antecedents. Personal pronouns are usually definite. Being definite, third-person personal pronouns are normally only used when the person or thing they refer to has already been mentioned in the conversation or written text. The noun phrase in the previous conversation or written text which refers to the same person or thing as the personal pronoun is called the pronoun's antecedent. In each of the examples below, the first italicized item is most naturally interpreted as the antecedent of the later personal pronoun, also in italics. John came home late, he was drunk. Mary told John that she was leaving home. I saw John and Mary this morning. They seem to have made up. James R. Herford, Grammar, A Student's Guide, Cambridge University Press, 1994. Backward and forward reference. Personal pronouns are most typically used for backward anaphoric reference. The manager phoned me back. He was extremely apologetic. Occasionally, a personal pronoun may be used to refer forward cataphorically. Such uses are common in openings to written stories. She was walking along a tree-lined suburban road, unaware of what was about to befall her. Gillian Dawson had never been aware of the people around her. Ronald Carter and Michael McCarthy, Cambridge Grammar of English, Cambridge University Press, 2006. Using object pronouns in informal English. There are three situations where the object pronoun is sometimes used, especially in informal English, although it is the subject in terms of meaning. After, than, or as in comparisons. For example, they work longer hours than us. In replies without a verb. For example, I'm feeling very tired. Me too. After the verb be as complement. Is that the Prime Minister in the middle of the photograph? Yes, that's him. In all three cases, the subject pronoun we, I and he is uncommon and formal, although some people think it is correct. The object pronoun is much more common. To be safe, for A and B above, use the subject pronoun plus auxiliary. Everyone is happy with this. For example, her sister can sing better than she can. I'm feeling very tired. I am too. Possessive pronouns. A possessive pronoun is a pronoun that can take the place of a noun phrase to show ownership, as in, this phone is mine. The weak possessives, also called possessive determiners, function as determiners in front of nouns, as in, my phone is broken. The weak possessives are my, your, his, her, its, our and their. In contrast, the strong or absolute possessive pronouns stand on their own. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours and theirs. The strong possessive is a type of independent genitive. A possessive pronoun never takes an apostrophe. Examples and observations. We were both work-study kids with university jobs. Hers was in the library. Mine was in the Commons cafeteria. Stephen King, Joyland, Titan Books, 2013. Go on, get inside the TARDIS. Oh, never given you a key? Keep that. Go on, that's yours. Quite a big moment really. The Doctor to Donna in the Poison Sky. Doctor Who, 2005. Ours is an age of relentless testing corrupted by cooked or deceitful results and widespread cheating scandals. Joseph Featherstone, Tested. The Nation, February 17, 2014. Mine is a long and sad tale, said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. It is a long tale, certainly, said Alice, looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail. But why do you call it sad? Lewis Carroll, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. She underlines passages in my Bible because she can't find hers. Ned in the War of Simpsons, The Simpsons, 1991. Possessive pronouns versus possessive determiners. The possessive pronouns mine, yours, his, etc. are like possessive determiners except that they constitute a whole noun phrase. The house will be hers, you see, when they are properly divorced. Writers have produced extraordinary work in conditions more oppressive than mine. Possessive pronouns are typically used when the head noun can be found in the preceding context. Thus, in 1, hers means her house, and in 2, mine means my conditions. Here the possessive pronoun is parallel to the elliptic use of the genitive. D. Biber, S. Conrad and G. Leach Longman Student Grammar of Student and Written English, Pearson 2002. The construction with the possessive pronoun, for example, a friend of mine, differs from the alternative of possessive determiner plus noun, for example, my friend, mainly in that it is more indefinite. The sentences in 30 below illustrate this point. 30A. You know, John, a friend of his told me that the food served at that restaurant is awful. Now the B part. You know, John, his friend told me that the food served at that restaurant is awful. The construction with the possessive pronoun in 30A can be used if the speaker hasn't specified and doesn't need to specify the identity of the friend. In contrast with the construction with the possessive determiner in 30B implies that the speaker and listener both know what friend is intended. Ron Cowan, The Teacher's Grammar of English, a course, book and reference guide, Cambridge University Press 2008. Punctuation with possessive pronouns. The words hers, ours, theirs and yours are sometimes termed absolute or independent possessives because they occur when no noun follows. No apostrophe appears in these words, which are often in the predicate. The house was ours, the fault was theirs. Sometimes, though, they can occur as subjects. Hers was a gift that anyone would envy. Brian A. Garner, Garner's Modern American Usage, Oxford University Press, 2009. Reciprocal pronouns. A pronoun that expresses mutual action or relationship. In English, the reciprocal pronouns are each other and one another. Some usage guides insist that each other should be used to refer to two people or things and one another to more than two. But see examples and observations below. As Brian Garner has observed, careful writers will doubtless continue to observe the distinction, but no one else will notice. Reflexive pronouns. In English grammar, a reflexive pronoun is a pronoun ending in self or selves that's used as an object to refer to a previously named noun or pronoun in a sentence. Also called simply a reflexive. Reflexive pronouns usually follow verbs or prepositions. Reflexive pronouns have the same form as intensive pronouns: myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, oneself, and themselves. Unlike intensive pronouns, reflexive pronouns are essential to the meaning of a sentence. Examples: I talk to myself. Take everything you like seriously except yourselves. Rudyard Kipling. A woman needs to support herself before she asks anyone else to support her. Maya Angelou, Mom and Me and Mom, Random House 2013. Relative pronoun. A pronoun that introduces an adjective clause, also called a relative clause. The standard relative pronouns in English are which, that, who, whom and whose. Who and whom refer only to people. Which refers to things, qualities and ideas, never to people. That and whose refer to people, things, qualities and ideas. An atheist is a man who has no invisible means of support. In the office in which I work, there are 5 people of whom I am afraid. The man who sits there is my brother. This is the school whose building was built in 2005. Conclusion. Thus, in this episode, we talked about the 9 types of pronouns which are commonly used in English grammar. We also talked about what kind of pronoun we are supposed to use where. To make the learner understand the use of pronouns thoroughly, we took the examples of pronouns from the books written by the famous writers like Lewis Carroll, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Rudyard Kipling and Oscar Wilde, etc. And we also discussed the use of different pronouns in different and very simple sentences. We hope that after watching the episode, the beginners of English grammar will be able to learn about the pronouns without any confusion. That is all that we had for you for today. With that, it is a wrap from us over here in this episode. Till the next time, it's a goodbye and namaskar.